Hey y'all, welcome back to Feywild and Now. I am Jade, one of the co-founders here at Feywild and Now, who is also lowering the volume so you can actually hear what's going on. But hi, welcome to Feywild and Now. We are back from break and we're going to be doing some Mass Effect Mirage, and I will hand it on over to Serenity.
Hello, welcome back to Mass Effect Mirage. I think there's some warnings we have to go over first.
Yeah, probably.
So I'm gonna pass it back over to Sparrow first, so we can get those done, so I don't forget anything and I don't mess it up.
Alrighty. Hi, everybody. Mass Effect Mirage is set in a science fiction setting based on an MA-rated video game. Please enjoy it responsibly. Content warnings for this episode may include violence, weapons, war, organized crime / gang activity, sexual content, genocide in context of the Reapers with organic / talks of the Genophage, drinking / drug use, political espionage, corruption, racism, and rodents. We encourage you to step away if at any point this content becomes not enjoyable to you. We are keeping each other safe at the table, and we want you to enjoy safely as well. Please use !CW in chat to review our content warnings at any time. And back to you.
And we'll start doing our intros before we head into the game.
Sounds good. Hi, I'm Serenity. You can find me all over the internet as ClickClackSnac. You'll be able to find me one less place soon enough. Thanks, America. But I'm there for a little while if you want to see me. I do a lot of cosplay. I do a lot of whatever, TTRPGs. Lots of fun stuff. We're back. I'm finally getting back into it. So you can hear my rambling of I'm trying to fit back in. So while we're trying to get back into everything, let's go ahead and I think we send this over to
Sparrow.
Yeah, Sparrow.
Hi, it is me, your favorite burb on the interweb, aBlackSparrow. I am also going to be one less place. But you can find me most places at aBlackSparrow, but that's for later. I'm playing Krexar Worq, a Krogan Battlemaster. Pronouns he, him, and so are mine. And I'll throw it on over to Moz.
Hi everyone, I'm Moz. How are y'all doing? You can find me everywhere at It's Mozzarelle or here on Twitch at 3L. But I'll be playing Adrana Sargas today. Both of our pronouns, I believe, are she, they. I'm going to be tossing that to Daryl now.
Hello, I'm Daryl. You can find me most places at either DarrylDorsey, Daryl Tyrone, or Mr_DarrylDorsey. I didn't do the thing of just consolidating one name because I don't know how the internet works and I don't care anymore. Sure, you'll find me in one less place, but possibly also on Lemon 8, the other thing that TikTok created just to be like a backup to itself. Don't tell anyone, shush. But I will be playing Darius Okar, your Infiltrator Pistolero. I said it weird. Your Infiltrator Pistolero. I turned into a wee little baby at the end. Who do I toss it over to now?
It's me.
Is it Jade? Is it
Yeah.
Jade?
Hi,
Nick
y'all.
Sarah's the one I stay away from.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're fated to be right after each other at this point. But yeah, hi y'all. I'm Jade Valkyrie. I also one less platform, but you know what? I feel like I'm a cool like trendsetter because I've been on Xiaohongshu for like a while now because I'm obsessed with Douyin makeup tutorials. So I'm on there. It's a great time. Just don't get stressed out like me if you see people who aren't melanated but then have box braids, because that is actually very prevalent. At least that's what the algorithms show me. But I digress. It's lit besides that over there, but you could also find that on TikTok, so it's whatever. But yeah, I use she, they pronouns, and my character Nixeris Varos, who is a Asari Vanguard shock trooper. They also use she, her, she, they. Honestly, most Asari, all, but mostly she, they're they. So yeah. But I think that's it for intros, and we will have our commands so you can follow everybody of the cast. But without further ado, on to Serenity to get us into the game.
All right. So last time on Mass Effect Mirage, it was a little bit ago, so might just take me a second to brew up in my brain. Last episode, the gang had gotten themselves onto Omega. They had talked with some of the leaders of the, I believe, I have my notes. They're just everywhere.
The something
Why
de
would-
Luna.
Yes, it is the Nada de Luna. So they talked with the leader, who is someone that Darius knows. And they were given a couple of ideas of where they could find someone named Mira Perdona, who is the only known survivor of whatever is happening out in the far rim, which the ciphers have been sent to figure out what is occurring. They had gone to a couple of places, including a halfway house where they had noticed some information, like letters that were dark and spiraling and almost endless and pointless at the same time, and had noticed on the Batarian social worker that there was some kind of mark on their arm, but wasn't quite sure what it was. After going to the Blue Suns area to help Adrana find her mark, they had found a way to be able to get their connection to the afterlife, which was the next place that they wanted to go ahead and check. So after a little bit of time, a little bit of fun bonding between Nixeris and Adrana, and doing a flip off of a building, because they're low key, they all headed over to the afterlife where they got in pretty quickly, and began to feel out the vibes of this packed, party heavy club. Adrana finally talked to their mark, who turned out to be sent knowingly to Adrana by someone she's looking for, and was almost nearly poisoned by that person as well. Adrana strongly walked away. After a bit of time, everyone looked at their own separate areas to find out what they could find, until they saw a group of Blue Suns going down to the bottom half of the afterlife, to the private rooms, where they saw someone who looked pretty much like their mark, and saw a bunch of people with weapons around their mark, suspect, victim, however you want to perceive Mira. After the gang just kicked their ass, like there's nothing else I could say. They just leveled them. Mira is now safe, however, is experiencing a panic attack due to a symbol found on one of the soldiers. It is a black spiral with a white kind of symbol in the middle of it. I have drawn it for these people here. So I don't know if there's a way for them to be able to see it. Do we have
Yeah, and Discord. So join our Discord. And
in Discord? Let's go to Discord. So now you are all leaving. I believe you all said you wanted to go back to the Mirage to talk with her.
Yes, mainly because
Yeah.
we had just gotten attacked, so we were just like, we gotta get at it. We gotta go, guys.
he just kind of murdered a little bit of people very quickly. So
Just a little bit. You all have the gear that you were given, which was sent during the last game. They did pretty good. And pretty much as many like bottles as your arms could carry. So
Mhm.
if you want to just sit and drink it out, you have more than enough now.
I made sure to to grab some Rhine call for Worq, because I do enjoy teasing Worq, but also I'm just like, hey, it's just in fun, right? So I made sure to get something that only really he drinks could drink without dying.
Very fair. So now here's the thing. Shootouts aren't untypical. But you are walking out of the afterlife with someone who was just cornered to be attacked. So, are you just leaving? Do you have something you want to do? Walking out the front doors?
Ooh, good question.
I don't know if I can extend my tactical cloak to someone else. Be a lot cooler if I could.
I think that after we decided to basically move our person, Nyx is going to kind of like position in front of our person to kind of like, like basically so we could ideally box them in because we have 4 people.
I believe I also gave her my coat because it was bigger on her and it will conceal more of her person especially if she wears the collar the way it's meant to be worn, popped at all times.
Yeah, I think that is something combined is a really good exit strategy. She does her best to try to regulate her breathing. She is having a bit of a difficult time, but I am going to state because you've already kind of boxed her into a safer environment, that's seeming to help. So
Does
you
she still
see
have the
her.
gun she grabbed? She grabbed a gun. I remember that. She's a trained soldier, so she did pick up a gun.
She
Okay.
did, but I
think it backfired, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it backfired because she rolled really terribly and was like 0 help. So I think she just dropped the gun. But currently she's walking with the collar up, but also her hands over it to keep her face hidden. You can see her eyes, which are this dark brown, that in the light of the afterlife, it is hard to get finite details. But between the strobes, you can definitely tell that her eyes have dilated to a point that she is pinpointed, and is watching pretty much everything at this point. Not you four specifically, but everywhere in between.
Gotcha. So basically, she's just being hyper vigilant after the fact.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of, are we on the? We were coming from the lower levels. Are we back at the main floor that would lead to the exit, or are we still like in the VIP lower area dance floor?
Oh, you can easily go up to the next one.
Okay.
And with what you have planned, she's harder to pinpoint. So let me roll a couple of things, but you are on the ground floor, being able to leave through the front doors.
Yeah, and I think that also part of, or at least part of what Nyx is trying to do, being like more in the front, is if there is some type of like either person being like, "Hey, what's going on?" or something like that, then she can easily just be like, "None of your concern." Anyways, like both talk first, but probably also physically can move them if need be. They kind of get us through as quick as possible.
So what occurs is no one actually comes to your front to confront you.
Okay.
However, you do see people slip downstairs like they had heard or seen something. So given everyone is fairly street smart in this, you probably got about 5 minutes to get out of here before or 5, I'm gonna give you 3. You got 3 minutes to get out of the vicinity before you probably have the entire group of I think it was the Blue Suns. Yeah, the Blue Suns specifically on your ass.
I think Worq is going to be kind of like heading up the rear of this situation. That way, if somebody like tries to approach from behind, he can kind of be a buffer. Um, and everyone else then can hopefully get to the ship faster while he kind of slows any potential incoming distractions down, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love everyone to roll me an active either investigation, insight, or perception check.
Mhm.
Um,
That's
any of those would
13
work, but
from
just
Big Boy.
for which roll?
It's an investigation 13.
Okay.
I just got a nat 20 on an investigation for a 28.
Sweet.
Nice.
First
Um,
one.
I got
24 for perception. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. So 24 perception. I got 26 for insight.
Okay. So we got the whole triangle. Work, you see things, but you are so focused on being that brick wall
Mhm.
that you're body blocking. You're doing everything you need to do. We'll start with the let's start with the perception. General perception. It's fairly obvious that gunshots would have been heard up here. They would have been muffled, they would have been heard. Um, you don't see anyone overreacting. You don't see the guards from the stairway to the mid level that Nixeris was near before, where they say that Arya is. You don't see them move a muscle. You don't really see anyone freaking out. You do see, however, with your general perception, that the bartenders are slowly moving down instead of having maybe two shakers in their hands or being prepped to continuously serve. It looks like they're moving down to one to possibly wind down their drinks without causing concern. For insight, insight wise, Nixeris, you are looking everywhere. The general public is either they live on Omega, they probably hear gunshots all the time. So they're either in the spot of it doesn't bother them, they're too drunk for them to be bothered. Or no one else is freaking out, so they aren't freaking out either. The guards that are blocking the stairway to Arya, they aren't moving. They're hard to read, but they don't seem to care. The bodyguards, however, you do see the ones that are still standing at exits, watching from the walls, watching in areas where they have a good vantage point to make sure no one gets into too much trouble. You see them all leaning into small little comms, like they're talking in their ear, or their faces are changed slightly from when you saw them last. They're pretty good at holding their professional, stoic expression, but a lot of them either seem to have a larger furrow or seem to be far more focused or pursed lips, just enough for you to notice that they're all honing in slowly on whatever the issue was. And you know you have limited time. Adrana, with that nat 20, you notice both those things. So you see those. But in addition, you also remember there are cameras all over here. It'd probably be pretty easy for them to find out it was you. So with your highly trained sniper eye, you find a camera, which seems to have a wire coming out of it. And your eyes flicker and dance to find the rest of the wire until you find a small little pocket where you think the possibly the power systems or maybe the not the memory itself, but it's a junction of where the cameras meet. And it seems like it could be something that could help stop the cameras if meddled with in some way.
if you're gonna keep, I'm gonna. Adrana's gonna instantly just. They're walking straight, but their eyes are up there. They're going to quickly do an overload on. Um, I know I have it as a power, but that is the idea where they're just like electrical discharge and just take it down, just zoom, all like if they can.
Are you trying to be sneaky or are you just doing it?
Oh, for sure, sneaky. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's sneaky and it's typically a power, so something that's pretty large. I would love for you to roll sleight of hand to see how well you hide it. You are going to have disadvantage because it is not the easiest thing to hide, and everyone's a little bit on pins and needles right now.
Okay. That's a 12 for disadvantage.
Okay. So you see that the box that's up against the wall, you see a spark fly one way and fly the other way, and a small amount of smoke coming out of it. You did something, but it didn't completely destroy the entirety of that box. So you don't know how much or how little is gone or meddled with.
They just kind of whisper under their breath, "Ah, damn it. The fact that, we already
If
made
I
enough.
were to, if I were to actually hack this, I would have to get right up on it, right? Even though I have an Omni tool.
You would have to break the circle. Adrana would have
Okay.
to tell you because Adrana's the only one that sees
Yeah,
this.
that I know Adrana hasn't told us. Yeah.
That's okay. But you would have to leave the circle to be able to do it. It's also up on a wall, so like up in the juncture between like
Oh.
the ceiling and
Okay.
uh and the high part of the wall where the wire would run. It's a little out of sight, out of mind. Um, but there are other things that you could possibly do if Adrana wishes to share.
Jana just like scoffs and just, we were already very, very loud. Tell me I shouldn't shoot that thing right now. And they kind of like tilt their head to the camera and just like, some memory, maybe.
Please don't shoot your gun, and that's the wrong voice. I was just Daryl saying that. That was
Please don't shoot your gun.
please don't do that.
Father,
Please,
please do not let off your firearm in this establishment.
Papa,
did you
why
say
are we
berries
shooting
and
the wall?
cream? I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. I would appreciate it if you did not fire off your large weapon in this dance hall.
I have a smaller weapon. It's just, no. They're gonna
You
figure it
already.
out. It's us.
Okay.
Um,
So wait, what were you about to shoot at? Were you shooting at the security guards?
Since it is Nyxeris, Darius, and Adrana, and then War, uh, Adrana's gonna like, if he's okay with it, just kind of tilt his head to the right, like over there. Goodness.
What did you do? Oh. What are you doing? Why are you doing? Okay. I've never been handled like that before. We'll discuss that later. Uh,
Hopefully,
all
this
right.
doesn't awaken something in me.
It's not.
There's something. I've overloaded enough of it, but not. I don't trust it to not hide our faces.
Is it 90 feet? I have sabotage. Could sabotage is 90 feet and it lasts an hour. Uh, and also casting this doesn't even break. Like if I were invisible, it wouldn't even break tactical cloak.
It's less than 90 feet away.
Okay.
But I do just want to read it real quick too.
I could read it for you. I could read it out for you if you prefer.
I would love that.
Okay. Target a ranged weapon you can see within range and sabotage its internal systems. I don't know if this I don't know if this would if you would allow this to go towards doing this to a camera or not. The next attack made with the target's weapons has disadvantage. Casting sabotage does not break tactical cloak, and creatures are unaware of the casting of this power. If the weapon is integrated into a synthetic creature, such as an Atlas Mech's mass accelerator cannon or a drone's particle rifle, this power has no effect unless the creature fails an intelligence saving throw against your power casting DC. Whether or not the synthetic creature succeeds on the saving throw, it becomes aware that it has been targeted by a power.
Okay,
I don't know
I
how
have
this
an
would work with
idea.
Yeah.
High or low?
Low.
And what is the outcome if it rolls low? What is the outcome you would like?
The outcome is that I instead of just fully just breaking the system, it just kind of shuts down. Like it doesn't look like anyone's messed with it. The camera system just functionally shuts down
Okay.
and
So with
possibly erases the last 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Let's go for that one. Let's add that in there. Thank B. Dave Walters for me being super freaking specific because that dude had me do a wish spell once and I had to write that shit out.
valid. So with a 42 that I rolled, at first it doesn't seem like it took effect. You hit it with sabotage. You see the sparking occur
Mhm.
in the areas that were already damaged. But nothing seems to happen until one of the cameras begins to manually move and begins to take action. And as it takes the action to move, you see the camera turn, stop, stutter before tilting down like it is no longer in service. You do not see any kind of light that is attached to it. With your, I'd say with your knowledge of go ahead and roll. Let's actually roll for it. Can you roll me?
Electronics.
Yeah, that's actually perfect. It's gonna be
Okay.
like Science, but it's more than Science.
Oh, come on.
Retro.
Huh?
I rolled a nat 2. I have a +9 to electronics, by the way. So this is an 11.
So an 11.
I rolled an 11, but still, I rolled a nat 2.
Depending on what systems they were using. And you would think that probably Afterlife was using the best systems, but also it's Omega. So there's a chance that either it's faulty, or it's been meddled with a million times, or they don't want to pay to get better security.
Mhm.
So it's very possible it could not be superior. But depending on what kind it is, most of the time there is they don't typically just keep the cameras continuously rolling. What the camera system will do is it will track for something odd or peculiar. Um, if it rolls, then it stays into a like very deep, hard to get camera system, so people can't just hack in easily and see everything that had happened in the past.
Mhm.
That's pretty typical. It's more like active, so it will record the last couple of minutes, and if it sees something actively happen, then it will save it in a little chip. Um, Depending on what kind it is, it's very possible that the little safety chip that has those short-term recordings on it may have fried, or may have shut down before saving. Most likely there's probably a long video that they could go into and find, but it's going to
Mhm.
take longer than it would take you to leave.
I'm more concerned about us getting out right now. We can
D-
worry about that. This is a this. I hate to say this. This is a tomorrow needs problem. We need to get out now because we have someone panicking and we have an entire Merc force probably about to. Two Merc forces about to come at us because they were fighting each other first. So we gotta go.
Yeah, just two.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, just two. Serenity, just two.
just two. Um, you're all
Horatio,
able
no,
to.
it's only two.
You're all able to leave. With some semblance of knowing that for now, right now, you're okay to get out, and that will give you some extra time. You don't know how much more, but you know immediately through the blue suns, you probably will have to rush to the docking area.
I would say honestly, Darius, as soon as he hits sabotage, he's just gonna go. We need to, we need to double this up. No,
Hmm.
like it's okay to run.
Yeah, Adrana working from a team, they'll hear that like, all right, everyone, straight down. Like, this at least to everyone here, it's very Tarian military kind of something that she hasn't revealed or talked about, but it's evident in the way that she is saying it. Down this street, left, like just maneuvering around things. Sorry, excuse me, sir. This is. Can you not do this
Adrana,
on?
did you always have a pet Varen since full time, or what?
There's just
Yes,
a
I keep him in
Baron
my
that's
pack
It's
because
just a baby.
you just look. What are you doing?
the Baron's like, yo, have you seen stairs?
Zoomies.
Zoomies. Uh, yeah. If you all rush, I would say running around in Omega, it isn't that weird. So if you once you've left the afterlife and
I've got
after
if she allows it, I'm holding our guest's hand. I don't know what her name is. Slip. It's been a while. You
it's
said it
Mira.
already, but her name is Mira. Yes, I've got, and we're on the Mirage. That's how I'm going to remember it now. I've got Mira's hand, just full on run, just as the Doctor Who music starts playing in the background. We're running away from the
Amazing.
Copyright, copyright. Don't get it.
damn.
It's
Hey, if
better if
anyone
Tradition wear.
we just sing it and it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna be like Aaron Hansen. I can't do Sandstorm so well that I'm gonna get us like take it down. I'm just gonna go, "Meow, meow." That's it.
No, I meant the Doctor Who bit, but it's all jokes. Don't worry.
So you
Oh,
all, uh, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
sorry. It's just because I order of operations. So while we're running, if it's possible, without it kind of hindering us to run, and Nixeris would like to like send a message to the ship to repair stuff for when they are there. I think that would probably be easier for her to kind of like just call like on the hollow instead of like typing anything. But she is sending a message to the ship, probably just whoever's on like the communications. They're like, hey, this is Saris. We're coming in hot. Would like to request one fresh set of clothing, casual clothing. I think human, medium, large. I don't know. And also two chamomile teas and I think a meal. And she's kind of trying to look back, but also doesn't really have time. It's just going to assume. Um, and a quiet room. Thanks. Bye.
I think as you give that information out, you hear request accepted. It will be done by the time that you arrive back on the ship.
Oh, nice.
Then you also hear, just almost like in a lower volume, you hear Quill. The only person who knows Quill at this point, though, really is Worq.
Yeah.
But then you hear, you sound frazzled. Should we get the ship running?
Yes, that would be very much preferred. Yes. I'll ask that later. I'll just ask that later. Yes.
All you need to know is I am Quill. And then just there's a shutdown. And you hear the call end.
Plus.
That felt a little suspicious, but all right.
Yeah, because Nick Saris is not trained to be subtle by any means. Anyone that would have heard speaking at a normal tone while running would know. So.
But everyone is running now. Rex, hello, Worq, hello.
The cameo of a lifetime.
What? Hello.
Here.
Back from the
What are
dead.
you doing here? Oh, it's been so long. It's been so long since we played this game.
It's been a month plus, so
I'm
we're
sorry,
doing
I
so
called you the
good.
wrong name. Are you okay?
What's up? What you need?
Are you doing anything, buddy, old pal? Work? No one else?
Shepard.
Tell me about yourself, Rex.
I mean, I think everyone is starting to run. I think Worq is moving quicker, also for sure.
Please tell me Worq is faster than all of us by a
mm,
bit.
Undetermined, but he's definitely moving. He's not kind of just leisurely. He's making sure that that everyone's 6 is covered for sure. So
I feel
that's where
like
he's
when
at.
Worq run, I feel like when Worq runs, it's kind of like when I start running. Everyone is just frightened because I am a big dude, so when I start running,
Not
it looks like a defensive end is just coming right at you.
It's like OJ in the airport. Just everybody get the fuck out the way.
Oh my god! It's like we need to move.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, you're going. I think that now that all of you are running, Mira at this point has to take your hand because if she doesn't run fast enough, there's a Krogan right here that could either run her down or pick her up. So she's got to go. You
He can't
all
help it. Darius is trying not to laugh. He's just got this big grin that he's trying to keep looking straight forward so Mira can't see it because he's got this because that thought crossed his mind and it's hilarious to him. He's like, we gotta keep it serious, keep it serious. She's panicking.
this is like the sci-fi version of the big boulder in Indiana Jones. But
Yep.
it's just a Krogan chasing after. It's running away. If he was chasing, he'd catch it. So you all make it to the docks. As you arrive to the docks, that's when you begin to hear the sounds of guns charging, clicking, and being put into position as you pretty much at the doors can hear that the docks, at least the part back into Omega, are closed down by some people in Blue Sun uniforms, some not. They don't seem to be in anything particular. They seem to be civilian.
Have they seen us?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, shit.
It's you specifically. That
Oh,
a couple of them are not all of you specifically, but the fact that there was a very large Krogan running maybe kind of hinted at the fact that something had happened. But you are right there at the door to the Mirage, which is ready to go. You can hear the engine whirring. You could smell the matter in the air that is burning. It almost burns the hair out of your nostrils. As you see it, you can feel the waves and reverberation of the Mirage's rockets right up against the dock, almost to the point where things are rocking and shaking next to it. And you see that some of the large crates and boxes that are sitting on the dock to be prepared to move are starting to melt due to it being ready to go.
So you gonna let us go, or you want to get roasted alive? Because I figure us opening the door and walking in is gonna be a lot quicker than you readying up and firing.
You see someone under a helmet. They don't seem to look at you, or they don't seem to look directly into your eyes. You seem to have a separation, but you do hear as they put their hand up to their comm. Targets identified.
Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and walk inside. Open the door.
Oh, they'll open it
Oh,
for you.
oh yeah, we'll
Yeah.
just open. Yeah, I'm just gonna Homer
Yeah.
Simpson my way in.
I'm
I'd
waiting
never
for
turn
all
my
the
back.
squishier people to go in first.
Adrana is doing the same. They're kind of looking to the back, but they're just like their voice. They're like, don't you love when they turn the ship on? And they like they're
What are the Molly Shannon from Talladega Nights?
No, more excitement, less less Molly. But like they're just like watching the six of the team, and then as soon as Mira passes them, they'll turn to Nyx, like nod and kind of go in together with them.
Yep. A quick flipping off whatever the Asari would do to flip off before again during. You know, with some biotics, gotta protect the good, the appendages. Can't really punch somebody. I mean, you could, but it doesn't want to replace any of the appendages because that would be expensive. And spend it on other
Good.
stuff. Yeah, this is expensive.
The money makers.
The money makers.
Hey, so Worq, definitely not Rex. Worq. Will you make me a try to find the right roll. Honestly, just roll me something that you're good at. And I know that sounds really like mean, but I mean it in a specific way that I don't have your character sheet in front of me.
That's a 25 on an athletics check, homie.
Perfect. You're watching. These people aren't moving an inch. It looks like when they had closed you in, their entire reasoning was to keep you out, not to chase you down.
Okay.
So based off of their movement, based off of how they are positioned, they look like they could be ready to fight, but you know, as someone who has been security and as someone who has done enough fighting for many, many lives, that they seem to take no action to actually point the guns or pull a trigger.
Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting move because if they're trying to keep us out, but they're not going for their weapons, ooh, okay.
We forgot something. Fuck.
Work actually slows down a bit. And to like give you an insight into 25 on hotness. I just read that. He absolutely does. Anyway, he's starting to think, and he thinks back to a time in which he was like just starting out as just like some run-of-the-mill security for some low-level nightclub. And he's going, so if they're not pointing their weapons, they're not actively threatening us, but if they're standing in the way, then either. And then he goes, and I'm not, I'm trying not to make it sound any other way, but
Feels like a trap. And he it's like he slows down to like almost a jog, and then he says that out loud to the rest of the crew, and then he starts running, and he's like full speed, and he's aiming for one of these dudes. And if you will allow with a 25 on athletics, he's gonna pull a grunt and just like slam this guy into the nearest wall with his forearm like right in his throat.
Okay. I also loved you're still on the low, like speaking, but I love the description and the low voice a lot. So I'm just like, no, just keep it on. So you don't, yeah, you hit them. That's not a question. Are you hitting the person that said into the comm? Okay.
yep, I didn't realize my audio didn't go clean, but yeah, so yeah,
I liked it.
it's fine. He he is absolutely aiming for the person that was like targets acquired or whatever, because that's the sussiest, and if he's gonna be the one that if he's gonna narc, he's gonna take this full Krogan forearm to the throat. So
Okay.
When he says it's a trap, can I inside track check Mira?
Sure. Absolutely.
I think Nixeris kind of hears Worq say that and is kind of like, honestly, just was already going in, like, woohoo, and then on a swivel, just back out, like, instantly. No hesitation, full
He's
trust.
Mira's fine.
Mira's perfect. Mira's perfect. You know,
Never done anything wrong.
her eyes really did sparkle in the afterlife.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Worq, you just slam this man into the wall. It's like you, as you remember as a kid, like you pretend you were on like wrestling shows and your teddy
as a
bear was
kid,
well, okay,
as a
I'm saying
kid,
specifically teddy bear. Like, you know, like you just like elbow them into the bed. Like it's
I
easy.
have brothers. I need teddy bear.
Well, I'm saying it's easy. Like if you're wrestling a teddy bear.
And I'm saying I had brothers. I didn't need to use a teddy bear.
Fine. It's easy.
I'm
I
just
wanted
messing
to
with you.
give you a tangible description. No, it's fairly easy to go ahead and do this. Just slam them up against the wall, and you hear the adjustment of guns now being pointed to you. However, they're and I'm going to give you the chance to look around because there's no way that you don't. When you
Right.
realize that their hands are not on, their fingers are not on the trigger, but rather on the side.
Yeah. Um. Ooh. Decisions. Because my knee jerk thought was I'm gonna yeet this dude at another dude. He's going to be a baseball bat, and I'm going to be Worq Otani. Because smashing this dude upside the head. But I think with my free arm, I'm going to take his comm off his ear before I do anything.
Yeah. So the man that you have slammed up against the wall is a Solarian.
Okay.
If anything, you heard crack, crack, crack as he hit the
Yeah.
wall. So you reaching up to grab his comm. You can easily do that. He is not going to stop you. You see the people around, both Blue Sun and Civilian, are looking at each other to see what everyone else is doing. But no one has changed from their position of not actively ready to fire.
Um. What's your name?
He doesn't give more of a reaction than just a cough. Just a.
All right. Well, no idea who to send flowers to. So, and he's going to grab this man and he's going to throw him into the nearest guy like as hard as he can.
Yeah, it's not hard. Can I have you roll to see see what happens? Because there's no doubt that you pick up the man and throw him, but
It's a 16.
16. You pick him up and you toss him. The person that was the closest on your right hand has now fallen back with the Solarian tumbling with him. His gun, which seems to be a mid-sized assault rifle, clatters to the ground, and they are both now against these red hot crates that are being propelled to a melting state by the Mirage, to which quickly you hear almost a sss before they both roll off and scramble away from you. One more pulling the other than them both scrambling, but moving away from you, and the others, now that you are looking to move back towards the Mirage, are starting to move their finger into the trigger.
Okay. Good to know. I want to get somebody else involved here before I feel like I don't want to monopolize. So if anyone
Yeah,
else has
I
any.
think by now Nixeris is behind, like just outside of the door, a bit behind, not towards the people at all. But how many civilians or you say were mixed in with these blue suns?
I'd say there's probably like a third of them,
Okay.
and there's, I'd say, probably about 15. So I'd say like about 5 of them.
Okay. I think that Nixeris is not pulling any of her weapons out per se, but is kind of inching a bit closer towards Worq, and raising her voice. I'm gonna give all the people who can't take a hit a head start. Get some answers. Anything?
You see none of them stand down. Absolutely none of them. In fact, they seem more determined at this point.
I'm gonna do my own personal role for morality.
This is the paragon of renegade interrupt.
It really is.
Yeah. No, actually, it kind of feels like it.
Oh boy. All right. So, that sucks for them, really. Would you allow me to do a combat action right after this, or?
Oh, sure.
Okay, cool.
And then we can get into a combat.
Okay, perfect.
I will say, Adrana, as Nixeris is saying that, they just have their like kind of gun kind of poke out, and they were going to be like, oh, okay, and like getting set up. So they didn't need a morality die. They were more like, oh, the teammate said this, got it, great. Nobody listened, okay.
I think it's okay. She gave them she gave them an out. But that being said, Xerius is gonna kind of look for the best, like the 5-foot path, like wide path that would hit the most people, to then cast a shockwave through.
Yeah, I would say
I'm not really sure how they're aligned, but basically it should be like, it's about, yeah. That's where she's aiming for.
they're all a little sporadic, but I'd say you could easily grab 3 or 4 of them in one, especially with the combined people huddling in the back that were just hit into a burning, melting crate. So yeah, I'd say you could get 4 if you go in that direction.
Perfect. All right. Huh. Okay, never mind. I thought I had one of the upgrades, but I don't. But if I did, that would be really cool. So folks that don't know, Shockwave is like a 5-foot wide by 30-foot long line that originates from me, and every creature caught in the line must make a dexterity saving throw. The saving throw is 15. On a failed save, the creature will take 3d6 force damage and is knocked prone. On a successful stage, they will only take half damage, but it seems like they will not be knocked prone. So I guess for the people that are there, they need to beat Dex 15.
I don't know if they're gonna do that. They don't. They do not. That person doesn't. And then the last one has disadvantage. No.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. Ain't looking good for them. That's a 14 of force damage on those people.
How much?
14.
4 people are down immediately. And the others don't stand back. In fact, they stand tall.
Are we the bad guys here?
I gave them an out. I'm just saying, I gave them an out. They could just have
We're
a
building a
concussion. It's force damage. They're not bludgeoned to death. Yeah.
It was the term standing tall. You only ever hear that. It's just like, yeah, the
Stand
hero
proud,
stood
you were
tall
strong.
against
Yeah, it was more that I'm just like, wait, and then kind of looking at Mira and just like, what are we doing? But um, it- out of the 4, I don't understand. You got 4, but everyone else is standing tall.
Basically, like
Saying?
it's like a long like rectangle. So
Mhm.
all the people that were hit in that rectangle were like knocked down in an hour, but they're still like, since they're everywhere instead of that
And
5
yeah.
foot. Yeah.
Yeah, so those 4 are down for the count. They are no longer active. But everyone else seems to almost be more motivated at this point based off of your actions.
Adrana is very unnerved by this and then just wants to do a tactical scan. They're just looking through everyone who is, I don't know, not doing anything. Like what is your next move? So this is spending an action to I can do an area scan, a 15-foot cube. So everyone in the cube can make a charisma check against my wisdom. I mean, against my insight. It only affects a single target, but I can choose from the creatures that failed the contested check.
Okay. I'm gonna give you 3 people. And let me see what is the score I need to beat to succeed?
I think it's against my insight, so I have to roll.
Okay.
Like, I make a insight check contested by the targets. Oh no, wait. Yeah, roll a charisma check and then against my insight, which is a 17.
They're all gonna fail, but I'm gonna help you out. One of them failed so terribly that I rolled a 1. So, what are you looking for exactly?
Are they ready to attack us? What is their intention here? Is standing tall? Like, why are they not? Are they annoyed at like what's happened in the cube that Nyx just did? Like, what is their next action?
So, the 2 in the back, because they all failed. So I'll tell you what everyone's thinking. The 2 in the back are holding position. they seem to be working uniformly, almost as they were told. That is what it looks like. The person who failed, however, is a civilian-looking person who seems to be ice flickering over to those who were downed. You see his bottom lip. It's a human man. His bottom lip is quivering, like he's about to cry. But you see him roll his shoulders back, and he grasps something that seems to be right here under his shirt. But after a moment, will go back and hold his gun.
I bet you if we took his shirt off, that would be a freaking tattoo. That's my conspiracy theory. That's just saying.
That's just a theory. A mirage theory.
Music.
They said the name. We can leave now.
Mirage theory.
Mirage theory. Oh, I guess I'm the only one that's not out there. I would commence a ship. I want to commence a ship-wide scan to make sure that nothing untoward's been placed on the ship or anything like that. Because once Worq said it's a trap, but we were already inside, my first thought is they've done something to the ship to possibly make it break down at another point in time. So I want to commit. I want to make sure that that's not the case.
Okay, go ahead and how are you doing? Are you looking? Are you telling someone to look? What's happening?
I would probably go through. If I could do this electronically, like have a system scan to try and search for any outside source that did not originate from the ship itself. Like whether that's me contact I haven't met Quill. I'm sure this is somehow going to get them involved with it. But if I begin to like hack into the system, as it were, to try and figure out, has a bomb been placed? Has there been a Trojan horse placed into the system somewhere? Or is if honestly, if anyone that was with us initially came off board the ship while we were gone, and then someone replaced them, that type of deal. Like I'm trying to just make sure that everything is fine with the ship, so we can get the hell out of here. I kind of want to do this electronically because I'm not engineering. I feel like it's way too just me ripping stuff open, and I'm more so like let me get the computer open and start running a systems analysis and scanning the ship for anything.
Sure. So just to give you a heads up, because it looks like you're a little frantic and you guys want to leave sooner rather than later. If you are doing electronic, you won't be able to do any personnel scans. If you are doing personnel scans, you won't be able to do electronic. Because you mentioned both, that would not be possible with that one check. So I would recommend you telling me which one you would like to do, and we can do that one. Or start with that one.
Making sure the ship can actually move is a priority. If it's a personnel, we can do personnel second. Like I feel like we can find someone that's not supposed to be here quickly. But if the ship goes down, we're all screwed anyway.
Okay.
At least that's Darius's thought process.
Go ahead and roll.
All right. I need a new pair of shoes.
New pair of electronic shoes.
21.
Okay. So you begin to run these. And this system is fairly new. It's not like you don't know how to do it, but it is a newer system than what you are used to. As you are beginning to run, you hear over your shoulder, You know, you could have just simply asked, right?
Shiva, I don't have the time for the voice over changes. What do you? When I look, do I see Shiva there?
No, you see a person who is shaped in a very holographic sense. You see Quill in their human form, which is a she kind of looks like me.
But blue.
And then boom, like the picture.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, crazy! Wow. But a plus size woman. In it looks like general professional garb that seem to be pretty standard with a lot of AI that is around. But she's looking at you, and you see the smile that is meant to be so customer servicey, but you can just tell there is this irritation, just a little bit behind it.
Darius puts out a hand and just runs it through her really quickly. Unshackled.
Are you asking me if I'm rogue?
Sure.
Let's say no.
I don't
Darius, you
like
just
it,
don't
but
go
I'll take
around
it for right
asking
now.
AIs if they're rogue or not. Come on.
I
Would
don't
you
like
like
that answer. Well, this is the first time I'm hearing of this ship having an AI, but okay. So that's why I didn't ask. I didn't know you were a thing. A person, an entity.
You're
Entity sounds
digging
better.
a deeper hole, as you say.
Well,
Work is just like shaking his head, like I can't believe this. Like at at Darius, not at Quill.
She'll look over to you, Worq, and go, "Is this a friend
this
of yours?"
this fucking guy. God. Darius is this fucking getting to this fucking guy.
Mm,
Oh, so is like this still happening outside the ship? I thought Darius was inside the ship.
Yeah, Darius is inside the ship.
Yeah, it's like this middle point where like what's happening
yeah.
like outside with Nyx is happening at the same time inside.
Okay.
But at your request, she will help you do a full system analysis much faster. Um, even though she's giving you the stink eye the whole time. But the system analysis does run to show that there has been nothing that has been added to the ship. There has been no one that has touched the ship um, at all, other than people who have been certified by the crew. Everyone has had their login, and all of them seem to be in order.
Okay. Do we have like a speaker system? I just get on there and say, if you are part of the Mirage crew, get on the ship now, please. And fasten your seatbelts. If you look to the right, you will see an endless void of space. If you look to the left, you will see the endless void of space. If you look in the cockpit, you will see someone
You
getting
all hear
very
just a
impatient.
click as Quill turns off the speaker system.
Adrana just looks to wherever the PA, the speaker is like, thank you, Quill, and just like
You are welcome, Adrana.
Okay. I
Work's
found my
work Work's gonna
BBEJ.
start Work's gonna start running and he's gonna make the way onto the Mirage. He doesn't like what's going on, but he's like, let's get the hell out of here.
I posed a question to my fellow players in the chat.
Okay, hold up.
I gave a thumbs up.
I just want to make sure before I try to do this.
I
that
want
we're
y'all to know
okay.
before this happens. I'm just here like, ha.
We're gonna at least try. I'm not sure if it's actually gonna happen. Okay.
Work's not a fan, but he don't know about it.
True. Okay. If that's the case, Nixara's hearing that is like a bit annoyed because she's like, something ain't right here. But will institute some how do they call it? Malicious compliance in a way. And is going to before she gets out, is going to try and grab somebody to take onto the ship as like basically hostage slash it's for the greater good kind of situation. And what she's trying to do in this is to use her action, use pull to lift somebody up into the air, and then as her what's it called, and then use her movement to kind of try and like yoink them. So basically they're floating in the air and she's gonna try and tow them.
I'm going to tell you right now, the easiest target would probably be the blubbering man.
Yeah.
Who did this. But you have choices.
I think that with just how Nixaris operates and probably like her like passive insight, she kind of already saw a bit of what was happening with that guy anyways. But yeah, so that's what she's going to do. To cast pull, I have to make a ranged power attack on the target, and on a hit, it will create a mass effect. Oh my god! Feel around the target, where it lift it into 5 feet in the air. So I'm not sure if it would move. Or it's like if it's honed in on that person, it can move the biotic field, or if it would be like it's lifted. She just throws him on her shoulder and then on her own shoulder, and then is actually carrying her. Either way, I think that she's strong enough to carry this person as well.
I do too. I think it's more the second one based off of the games where pull is typically just pulling them up into the air and ragdolling them until it's over. So if you make them float, grab them, go, I think that fairly easily you could do that. What do I have to roll?
I have to roll an attack roll. So let me do that. That is a nice. That is a 25 to hit.
So easy. It's crazy how easy this man is to take as a hostage.
Some people would really like this to happen to them. I'm just saying.
That's funny.
He just picked me up on her shoulder, put me over her shoulder. I didn't have anything to say.
Xeris is doing this as like new service. I can make a lot of money.
The wheels are turning.
Stonks.
Through the moon.
Very easy though. He's civilian, so he's easy to hit already. He also looks, out of everyone, the most emotionally broken, so almost like he's lets you, but can't as much resist. And you pull him fairly easily into the Mirage as the doors are beginning to close. Is everyone in the ship?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like, you're gonna live with me now.
You all hear over the speakers. You hear, that took you long enough. If you waited any longer, we could have hurt the ship just sitting like this. And you hear Shiva, who is upset that we've left the Mirage running for so long. Is so close to the dock, and pretty much immediately takes off, knowing that this is a dire situation. I'd love everyone to roll me a dexterity save as she hits the gas.
LOL.
Crash pads.
Thank goodness I have advantage because that's a 20.
Oh, nice. I got a 12.
You said sit deck save?
Mm-hmm.
Let us
16 for
roll.
me.
17.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 16.
Oh, wait, I'm carrying the guy.
Okay, so we got a 16, a 17, a 12, and what was Worq's again?
20.
20. You are stone. You're good. Adrana, I think there's a bit of a a falter back into the wall, but you hold yourself well. You're perfectly fine. Darius, for the memes, because I think it's funny. You rolled a 17. And that I feel like you would have gotten higher, because you're sitting and you're waiting, and you feel like a little bit of a pushback, and it's almost like you see someone's hands prepared to help you on your sides, but then you realize they're holographic, and then you stumble back into the wall, holding on just fine, but you just see Quill give you a smirk and then disappear into the flooring, which seems to be it looks like this whole time she's only been staying on the outside portions, which is that walkway we talked about that's darker. So she just kind of fades into the floor below.
So she literally, oh shit, I broke something.
That's what she did.
I broke everything.
Oh no.
Yeah, she literally just melts into the floor. Why is she antagonizing me? I've done nothing wrong. All I did was try to hack the system.
Crazy consequences. And Nyxeris. God, I'm glad she's such a baddie, because this is gonna go so baddie. You you have him on your shoulder, and you get into the main area where everyone's standing, waiting. Typically where the where the main universal map is, where you can go chart where most of the crew is. And as you are about to put this man down, he begins to push back, and with him pushing you and the force of the quick takeoff, you both separate, falling into opposite sides of the wall. He can't go far. He tries to scramble, but there's no way he can get very far, as the crew has understood that you just carried a man on your shoulder. There's something that either he has to stay there for one reason or another. You see the Asari that had come out from the medbay about a week before, that you had seen but haven't really talked to. She seems to be at the communications desk, and after the jerk, she holds on, but then she walks over, gives you a look, and is trying to read your expression of what kind of person is here and how to treat them. What kind of expression would you give her?
I think Nyxeris is kind of like a more stern expression, more, because I think that in general, like when the other Asari saw Nyxeris before, she's kind of like very like, light, very neutral to kind, neutral like expression. So this is very much like, I would say brows are like really like stern, but they don't have eyebrows. So like that expression, but whatever that would translate on an Asari face, just very stern looking at this guy.
As she sees your expression, you see this woman give you a look. She has the typical blue type tone. And she has some striping that seems to be a mixture of almost like a seafoam green with like a light blue up her face and up her jaw, and a bit on her brow bones, which make it look like she has brows, but not quite. But you see her look immediately surprised, and then she'll pull out her gun and hold it to his head, as she just looks at you for confirmation that this is what you meant.
Yeah, Nyxeris will give a nod, and kind of like, as she's trying to regain her own footing. So do we have like a brig or something on this thing? I kind of just assumed.
There is a brig. Sorry, we'll speak out. Very quiet. There is a brig. I can show you.
That would be lovely. Thank you. I'll meet back up with the rest of you. I need to secure our guest. And Nixeris will kind of uh kind of take the lead and grab this guy, kind of trying to at least put his hands behind his back, and both of his hands, but like gripping that. Less or but using both of her hands so she's not having gun out. Like secure this guy, but also get him walking.
Sure. The Astari walking with you will keep up her gun.
Okay.
And will lead and walk with you. As the takeoff finally stabilizes to a point where you are no longer slightly angled, but now are traveling at very quick and fast speeds, almost at a neutral point. You are all able to settle into the ship a bit more. This is much more what you're used to, even at the fast speeds, but now you're not angled at a weird direction. So now you all have your footing. I think we should take a 10-minute break before we come back to questioning a pair of new people we have.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. All right, y'all. We'll be back in a bit. So stick around, get some snacks and all of that, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Bye. Hello, y'all. We're back from break. We had a lot happen in the first half, so I will hand it on over to Serenity to kind of like give us a TLDR before we head back in.
Oh boy, what didn't happen? um, the ciphers all escaped the afterlife, and much to their dismay, I don't know. It's a very interesting interaction, where they were stopped after they had almost boarded their ship and found a very weird interaction where there were blue suns and civilians all holding guns, but not actively making any moves to stop them. But as they confronted them on this, they only, and I said it before, stood taller. After taking a couple of them down, Nixeris decided that we should bring one of these guys with us, and picked the saddest one. The ship is electronically clean of any sabotages. Uh, now, Nixeris and the Asari from Communications are walking the sad man, the sad prisoner, down towards the brig. I'd like to know what everyone else is doing, because you were all in the same area. You all saw the hostage. You all were in the same area. Mira is there, calming down finally after everything is settled, but she's up against a wall, holding on to the jacket that Darius let her borrow, and just like seemingly looking around, like she's going through the 5 things you see, the multiple senses to calm herself down.
Darius just says, Mira, have you ever flown a ship before?
Yeah.
Uh, Come here. Let me see if you recognize a few. This is trying to bring her into something familiar. It's like, come, come over here. You mind taking a look in the cockpit of the ship? Quite amazing. It's something I've never seen before. It just kind of gives Shiva a look of like, just go with me here.
Sheba's just gonna nod and continue doing what she's doing, which is mostly making sure that you're safely traveling, and if there is anyone following, that you're as aware as you could be. Um, Mira doesn't seem to calm down from this. It seems to distract her, but she's still anxious. Um, and but she'll interact. She will go with this as much as she can, like she's actively trying to make the situation better for herself.
Mhm.
Um, but it looks like this wasn't her largest expertise.
Yeah, I'm mostly just stalling now up until someone gets the clothes that Nixeris had asked for beforehand. And then when that distraction, I'm basically just moving from one distraction to another till I can actively get her to a more calming space or area. Uh, Preferably, so I don't want to put her in my room, but anywhere where I can. I believe tea was asked for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nick Saris
yeah.
asked for, as a refresher, 2 chamomile teas, human flows, medium or large, just basically whatever size range ish. Mina is. I just kind of threw that out there, because I think that she would be a pretty good judge of people's measurements. So that part, and also a quiet room to talk. So,
Yeah, I will say, because she's been on the run for a while, and judging from where she was living, I'm just like, so
oh, and the food.
you
Sorry.
haven't been, Yes, it was like, you have a bit of skill. I can see. Needs a little bit of polish, and I think we can work with you. Your clothes we requested are here. Would you like to take a shower?
The minute you say shower, that's when she's like, yes, yes, I do. She will hand you back your jacket. Very like almost militarian esque. She will take it, she'll fold it a bit, and then hand it back to you.
I appreciate it. Here, I'll show you to where it is. I won't go in with you, but I'll just show you where the baths are.
She'll follow. That is fairly like she's in there for a while. I'm going to say this right now. She's probably going to be in the shower for as long as she can physically handle it.
Yeah, someone else is probably crying now in the shower. That's a thing people do, right?
I don't know. Crazy. Is there anything else you want to do?
Uh, Constantly keeping an eye out for a slight blue glow just randomly peeking around corners now. Because now I know that the damn AI likes to play around. I know you're
It's
watching.
funny. You think that I have to show myself to be there. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha.
So you're not rogue. You're just funny. So you just make jokes. You're right on the cusp.
Can you make me a I think electronics would work if you would like. Electronics roll.
Yes, you know me. Just keep on messing with the thing that makes the ship go. That is a 25.
You now that you're kind of waiting for Mira to finish up and you kind of just have a moment to collect your thoughts. And you're thinking about the this AI that you don't quite know the name of yet. Well, she said her name's Quill, but you
Yeah,
know,
she said.
you don't know too much. You see that the walkway is pretty even. Like everything feels pretty standard, but there is a portion along the sides and to tables and to certain areas that is black. And that's typically around the rim of the walkway and into like towards, like I said, tables or towards computers. It looks like from how you had interacted with her before, she can only stay on the black panels.
Mm.
Because that's where she
That's-
was when you popped up, and that's where she was when she disappeared. Uh,
I'll step onto the black panel.
that's fine. It feels the same.
Just like, I'm catching on. I'm not as far ahead as everyone else was because I didn't know you exist. So if I offended, I apologize.
That's funny. I didn't know you existed either.
Well, it's my first day.
They've been on the on this like you've been there like a couple days, like a week.
Yep, I
Darius is
know
like
how
still my
time
first.
works. It's still my first day.
Um, Adrana or Worq, what are you doing?
Work is heading almost beeline to the gym.
Adrana would want to follow for with Nyx, but they're like at least curious to listen in, like if there is a room and they're watching. But before they do, they're going to go and uh check in with their Turian friend in the it's not infirmary, it's the armory. There you go.
Yeah. Junie is there. It looks like he had a little bit to pick up after the quick takeoff. So it looks like he is very meticulously placing things back into their specified order, making sure everything is fine. He seems a little peeved about it, but he's working through just fine. And as the doors open, he will look over to see you before turning away. And he will. So, how'd it go?
Just about how you'd expect it to go. Got the girl, which is a surprise.
I wasn't. I was prepared for you all to do fine. However, I was more surprised by the takeoff. What did you do?
She kind of laughs as she puts her baby like down and starts like taking it apart and starts uh helping around to pick up anything for Junie. You know, decisions were made. Let's just say that.
That is typically the way a soldier gets out of saying that they made a decision that probably their superior wouldn't like.
Well, as long as you're not my superior, then I can, I think we're safe.
Good thing too. And he'll just kind of like give you a nod at that, a bit of a smirk and a as he continues to clean up. He will, after a moment of a pause, he will turn back and nod towards the doors. I saw there was someone else here being held up by your Asari friend and also Meneza?
Mineza?
The communications officer.
Oh, yes. They kind of like, we brought a friend. Well, hopefully a friend. We'll see how they answer the questions.
Look, I love my guns as much as the next person, but I don't particularly hold a gun up to my friends.
That's true. That's true. But sometimes your friends end up turning into the people that you do turn kind of stand against. So she kind of like looks past Junie, thinking of someone, um, as they're kind of like finishing up, and they like turns like, I've heard worse stories, so let's see. And they kind of walk towards the room where they could see the questions. The oh my god, what is that word? Interrogation? Is that the right word?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. So you, just to confirm, I'm so sorry because I like half read something. You are going to the interrogation.
Mm-hmm. They
Okay.
they're watching. They're not interrogating.
Sure. Um, the rig. Oh, I could turn that off. The rig is not particularly made like an interrogation room in like a police station. However, you can very easily sit outside of where the cells are and listen or watch. So that'd be easy enough without you being a part of the issue. Um, okay. Well, I think if we're all cut up and we're heading there anyway, we'll join Nixeris and now Menezia.
And I think that on the way there, Nixeris would have introduced herself and asked Menezia for her name. All right, so let's. I guess this one will do, if you don't mind, and then kind of like gesture towards her head towards the door to open it so she can walk the guy in.
Yeah, okay. And she'll easily open the door for you, keeping a close eye on the guy, but she's still fairly
Mm,
cautious over the whole thing and is mostly following your lead.
yeah, and then also once she's kind of like walking inside, we'll like thank you so much. Also, I'm not sure how many other folks on the ship are, used to this sort of thing, but if you could ask them to come down, that'd be great. I don't want to involve you if you don't want to be involved, but I appreciate the help.
I'll do what I can. I mean, if you need me here, I'll be here. But if you would prefer, I can get other people.
I think the more the merrier, and perhaps the rest of the ciphers as well. At least let them know that's happening.
Understood. And she will nod, and pretty promptly put her gun away and walk out. I imagine that's when Adrana walks in, kind of just like a switcheroo. And she'll go off to go tell other people, but we'll stay here.
If you don't mind, I'm just a little curious myself.
So do you see any restraints out there? I didn't really have time to check. Just very okay with just holding this guy's wrist in like one hand at this point. Just
No, but I can go check for you.
thanks.
Adrana will turn to where these restraints might be.
Yeah, so it's more of the equivalent of like a zip tie type of handcuff where they're temporary and they're not meant to be like reusable. They're more like disposable. But you do see a couple of those. So that would be something you could easily use. But it's more handcuffing rather than like any other kind of situation to tie to.
I should not have looked at our chat. Anyway, they Adrana will grab what is I guess that they could carry and bring it back to Nyx. Do any of these do?
Yeah, they'll do. Give me 2 of them.
Great. 1, 2. Go.
All right, up and at him. If you, so far, you've been pretty well behaved, so good job. I'm just gonna be a little bit tight. And she's going to still restrain him, but like not in like a terribly like extremely hostile, like I'm very actively uncomfortable. Just like he can't go anywhere, but she's not like an asshole about it, you know? I'm gonna talk him through it. But yeah, she secures his wrists behind his back, and also will kind of secure his ankles as well. And after that's done, I'm not sure if she needs to do a check for that. 'Cause I'm not sure if he's like even moving or anything right now.
He seems to be fairly cooperative.
Hmm.
Not that he necessarily wants to be there, but he isn't fighting. And I'd say your ties are perfectly good. He doesn't move in any odd way to try to twist them.
Okay.
You're able to pull them to a point where they're not uncomfortable, but they are secure. And he's just sitting on a small bench bed that's there with a very thin mattress and a thin pillow.
Hmm. Yeah, I think at this point, Mixeris is gonna kind of like look over to Adrana real quick. I did send our communications officer to at least try and grab the rest of the folks, but if you don't mind helping me out, patting him down, that'd be great. And Mixeris, instead of actually patting him down, is going to grab him by the jaw. I know. And try and get him to open his mouth.
Adrana would help by getting like behind them and like
There's a reason
doing that
behind
thing.
this.
After
What are
saying
y'all
yes, kind of
doing?
a nod. They would get behind them, kind of put the foot in between, and just start like patting them down from the legs.
I wish it was the hostage right now. Um,
I'm saying, like, he got Nixier's, put him on his shoulder, carried him over. Now he's getting tied down, telling that he's been really cooperative and basically a good boy. Like,
you're
come
doing
on.
such a good job. You said ease him through it, and I immediately went, you.
I knew what I was doing.
I saw it.
Yeah. I mean,
Fair.
to roll to see. Yeah, he's really cooperative. Cause you just grab on, kind of give it a shake, and then it just falls open. Goodbye, Sparrow. I'm explaining things. How dare you? This is very important. We need to make sure that we know the hostage is a good boy. He's being compliant, and Nixarius is right there to help him along the way. What point do you not understand of this hostage situation?
It's a lot of sub shit happening that I just don't understand.
Oh man! So
Please
he does.
remember this
He's a
game.
puppy dog guy. So it'll be-
Please remember that this game is based off of a rated M game.
I bet you. I honestly think that yeah. There we go. I also think that if Mass Effect released any earlier, like on PlayStation 2, there will be quick time events for the spicy times. That's all I'm saying. Is that it was anytime sooner.
You would have had to press O to start having a sex scene.
Exactly. So
Grand Theft Auto this?
Yeah, gotta avoid this shit. But that being said, bringing it back. If he did open his mouth, what Nixeris is looking for is like any type of weird looking teeth, because I'm sure that there's been like many types of hostage situations, and also because Nixeris is thinking that this is a type of cult shit going on. Usually, if someone's being hostage or they're chill about it, that means that they're not planning on being around for very long. So basically, a lot of the stuff that she's doing is to one, give him something to hopefully try and live for. TM, and also, yeah, I probably could have explained that better, but I'm standing by it at this point. But also making sure that he has nothing to unalive himself in the in weird ways. So that's also what the pat down's for.
Yeah. You don't see anything immediately that shows because I know what you're looking for. You show nothing that he would be able to cause himself harm immediately. You also like trying to think of anything else.
Or tattoos as well. I think that was the other thing.
Yeah, the Adrano, as they're patting down, they will kind of like move aside. They were curious about that themselves.
So when he opens his mouth, I think he's starkly confused of the situation. Like it's something where if a pretty woman or pretty femme tells you to do something, you're probably just gonna do it anyway. But it's more of a shut up. I wasn't talking about you, obviously, because you shook your head. But you know what I mean. It's a situation where you would this character would just follow along. However, they seem confused by your mixed your mixed like perception of what's occurring. But he seems just to be calm enough about it. There is the tattoo you're looking for. It is on the back of this arm. And it wasn't from like pushing things up to find it. You actually feel it. Like the tattoo was done so roughly and harshly that it's scarred. So when you do pull up, it's there. It's not clean like the other ones you've seen. It's a bit more hasty. You also do see, because you pat him down, he only had that one weapon on him. He seemed to have some form of a communicator, but it seems to be fairly regular. It doesn't seem to like only lead one place. It just seems like basically like his cell phone. You know, it's something where it's a general communication device. And right here, there is a necklace that seems to be a cube. It looks like it's some kind of cube with small electric workings in between, and there is a glowing blue circle on one side and what almost feels like a little push button on the back.
Yeah, we're taking all of that.
Yeah. The only time he has a hard time is when you take his necklace. And you hear him go, wait.
Can't just leave anything on here. You still need to be interrogated.
And keep it nearby, please.
I'll be over in a box elsewhere. You answer your questions. We drop you off at the next stop. Simple as that.
Okay. We're gonna pause right there because we wanted to see if other people wanted to come in.
Yeah.
So first, Worq. You were at the gym. What you up to?
He is beating the shit out of a punching bag.
That for punching bag.
There's this huge dent. I think there's a punching bag on the ground that is out of commission, and you had to replace it. And this one's getting worked through. Worked. But as you are doing this, you hear the door open, and you hear, excuse me.
He does not hear that. He's still going.
Excuse me?
That one he hears. He stops. And he does kind of like he doesn't turn. He kind of just like looks over his shoulder to see like who it is that's calling him.
You see sorry, from communications. Someone that honestly you have not seen throughout like this whole voyage, like to all of you except for Nyxeris the first time. Even though you've walked past communications, it's almost like she hasn't existed.
Is she wearing anything that denotes that she belongs on the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then he doesn't. He's not. His alarms aren't raising right now.
Nyxeris was wondering if you wanted to meet them at the brig, sir.
No. Thank you.
Did you want me to tell her anything?
No. Thank you.
Okay. And she will just promptly turn and walk out.
He kind of looks down at the punching bag, and I think the comms officer interrupting him kind of was like brought him out of that kind of like it's obviously not a blood rage, but like it interrupted his anger long enough that he just kind of like doesn't feel like it's worth it to try and like work himself back up, to ramp himself back up into violence. So he just kind of just like looks at it and just kind of like very weakly kicks it with like the toe of his boot, just like and have one of those. Um, then he will think a second, and then he's gonna take the communication device that he took off that one. I'm assuming it was a Blue Sun.
Mhm.
He's gonna take that and he's gonna look at it for a second, and then he's heading to communications.
Um, Before we head there, Darius, I do want to let you know it's been a hot second. She's still in the shower. So it looks like at this point, it's gonna be a minute. Um, you do see the blue Asari that had held up the gun to the hostage before walk over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, she's been pretty much like you have not seen her at all. She kind of just fades into the wall, into the background. Um, excuse me. Nixarius was wondering if you wanted to go to the break to help with the hostage.
As a matter of fact, I think the guest is having a moment in the shower. So I will. Quill, when Mira emerges, could you have someone take her to the mess hall so she can eat? Or if perhaps you could do it yourself. Please.
Fine, but I am not doing it for you. I will do it for her.
I figured you'd say that. I could accept it. And I appreciate it. Take me to the brig. I did not take a tour of this ship.
The woman from communications will just nod and lead you down the way before going, I have to go collect other people. I don't. It made it sound like she wanted everyone there, so I'm just going to go ask everyone. Thank you. Bye.
I have never seen that Asara before in my life. All right. I'm going to put a pin in that later. Note to self, might have to kill communications Asari. Probably not real communications Asari.
Note to self. Killed.
Murder. Murder.
Do we want to go to the hostage scene? Because that might take a hot second first. Or do we want to go to the communications first?
Your call.
Let's do hostage first. So the man, stripped of all of his belongings, is sitting, waiting, as Darius, you walk in and you see her holding this man by his jaw, and Adrana's just patting him down still.
You think you got everything? He looks at Adrana. You think you got everything? You're muted.
For now,
Okay.
pretty safe to me, I think.
And
So,
how are his teeth?
All of them are his real teeth, and nothing that could be deadly to. He's human, right?
Mhm.
Nothing that could be instantly harmful to humans. Seen a
Anything
couple of
instantly harmful to
times.
you?
Don't think that there's much that. And she kind of gives him like a full once over. I don't think there's really much that would be harmful to me there. But don't. And then she'll be like,
Oof.
"Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that." But not in a way that. I mean, this is kind of my job, you know. But don't hold it to yourself. Don't hold it to yourself. There's not that
How,
many people that could do that. So. Uh,
how about his effects?
I think by now we probably have put it in the box. But in that case, Nixeris will kind of like gesture over to like a box that would probably be outside the cell. Yeah, we saw a communications device, a necklace, or anything. Oh, and he has the tattoo.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go through your stuff, and depending on your answers, I may or may not harm you.
Mhm.
I'm not in charge in this interrogation. That just might happen.
Mhm. Well, as
I'm
we've.
gonna go. I'm gonna go through your stuff now.
Mhm.
I go look in the box.
Okay. And as that's being said, by the fact that Worq's not here, Nixeris is just going to assume that he has declined. But will kind of like gesture towards Adrana. Make sure that you're recording this. I want to make sure that Worq, if you would like to, listen to the answers that he can. Thank you.
can do. And they'll take their like Omni tool and just like start a recording.
Mhm. Oh, okay. Um, and now Nixeris is just gonna kind of like probably like scooch down a little bit just to be kind of like eye level towards the person. Well, my name is probably irrelevant at this point, but I would like your name.
Jonas.
Jonas? Jonas. Nice to meet you, Jonas. Appreciate we apologize, or I apologize for kind of the haste there in the situation. It seemed a bit time sensitive. But as I said, if you answer our questions and promise not to be cause any harm, then we can drop you off at the next stop with your belongings. That being said, we were kind of curious about this, and she'll kind of like open up on her own Omni tool, kind of like this picture that we had of somebody's tattoo that looks similar to his. Can you tell me what this is about?
I um it's important.
Mm-hmm. Important enough to be tattooed onto your body. Can't just be just important.
Look, there's not a lot I can tell you about a lot of things. But what I can tell you is that I'm just here to help everyone. That's all I want to do. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't in fact, I didn't want to hold a gun in the first place, but I did because I thought it would help. So I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to harm anyone, but there's things I can't say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. How about we try a new thing? You don't have to break any of the, I guess, promises you've made to whoever you answer to. And I can mind meld. I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure if I'm using the Star Trek term, but I think that they use the same as Mass Effect. Yeah, mind meld. I can mind meld with you. It's much more pleasant if you are a consenting party. But should someone ask you about it, you could say that you did not have a choice. You did not tell me anything, but I can see things. Would that be more agreeable to you? All right. He's like already sitting down in something, so I think that Nyxeris is just gonna try her best to get somewhere that's standing but comfortable-ish to then mind meld. And I have the block. So mechanically, as an action, I can transfer or receive thoughts from another organic creature within 5 feet. But if they're unwilling, then they have to make a wisdom saving throw. But if they're willing, I think it just does it. But if I want to probe deeper because it goes to surface level thoughts first, then that takes another action. And I'll also in actions, you can use the action to direct questions, and that will naturally shape the course of its thoughts. But this is about a minute. And I think that I have it available, I think, to use it four times before a long rest. So I guess that's like 10 questions or so. I don't think we're gonna use 10 questions or something like that, but just so knowing the confines of what I'm able to do.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, no, he is willing. So you would start with surface thoughts, correct?
Yeah, surface level thoughts, because we were just talking about that tattoo.
So a lot of his surface level thoughts are terrified. There is this slight, not my fault, but there's a hot Asari touching him, so there's a bit that's like, hey, and it's like, no, stop it.
We must stay focused.
And so there's just that bit that's like, she's touching me. She's touching me? No, she's touching me. Like that's the like thought there. But with the tattoo, he is beginning to think, I didn't want the damn thing in the first place. I just wanted to help.
I think that as an action, she's going to dive into the wanting to help. Like, help who? That's kind of like where they're I'm trying to like almost a flowchart, if you will. But yeah, to help who would probably be the diving in.
As you delve into the who, you see a visage of, it looks like it's from Jonas's point of view, where he's sitting, his hands are at a table. It looks like a meeting, but it doesn't necessarily look like it's a meeting that is in a nice building. It looks like he's in a, the area is really dark. It's really hard to see at this vantage point because the main focus of the question is help who. But you see a man that is pacing in front of him. You see a couple other people in the background with their arms crossed. They seem to be important, but not important enough that you remember a face. It's more like you see them from the neck down. And then you see the man in the front, who seems to be Bartarian, and goes, you see, our people were hurt because of your people. There are more of us than just the Batarians. Sign this. Not only will you help us, but you'll help your family. And then you see the Batarian put his fingers down on the paper and push it. And the paper, when you look down, begins to have a couple of words, but they almost seem to float off the page. Like he didn't look hard enough at the paper to register what was written, and instead just took a pen and wrote. And that's the answer to that question.
Okay, I think that going to the Batarian, that ooh, this is hard. Because it's definitely is clear that they're being a bit like coercive in a way, but like forcefully coercive. So, others besides Batarian is probably like wanting to know more about that sentence.
When you delve in deeper to other than Batarians, you begin to go through multiple small memories of essentially, and like I've stated before, this term is primarily from the game, lesser aliens. So you see Vorcha on the street that are gnarling and smacking at each other, going, "Get away from me!" And sitting on their own, almost going crazy at this both pack and almost cannibalistic mindset that you're seeing this one group in, where it's whoever lives survives. In the corners of Omega, you see others that through minor everyday small inconveniences, they're the ones that pay. So you see, primarily it's a lot of Vorcha, it's a lot of Batarian, but you do see Volus as well, who are seemingly having issues. You don't see exactly what, it's more from far away, where you see two of them talking to a Turian, and the Turian flicks them away and turns away before one Volus waddles quickly to walk after him before throwing up his hands and turns back to the other. You just see a lot of pain.
I think that Nixeris is kind of like sits with that for a second, because she's just like really absorbing that, and then we'll kind of go towards the kind of like pack, and then use the pack to jump to family. What happened to your family?
And you see a human woman, and you see a couple of children that seem to be of different alien species. So you see a child that is Batarian. You see a child that is a human, and you do see an Asari child. And they all seem to be equally loved in this. And you see Jonas's hands almost positioning everyone, going over to the woman, caressing her cheek for a moment as he tucks some hair behind her ear, going down to the human girl before readjusting her hair and fixing the collar of her shirt a little bit, before going to the Asari, and you see his hand disappear, and then you see it a little wet, like he just took some saliva and rubbing something off of her cheek. And then you look over to the Batarian child, who seems to just be unsure of what to do, and he will physically move him to sit him down, and then move his two thumbs up to make him smile. And you see the vision shaking, like there was like a rumbling laughter as the Batarian smiled. The Batarian child was smiling. And you see him move away, look over to a table, and you see him set down the little cube and put it down. He presses the back button before running to slide behind the children, put his arm around the woman, and look over to this cube before it flashes. And when the flash goes away, there's no one there beside him. But you do see darkness that seems to almost slip down into the carpet and into the furniture before he stands up to turn and look over. And before you really recognize what it is, you see figures lying on the ground. And there's almost a blink, like he's trying to now force you out of his mind to stop thinking about this.
I don't want to break the mind meld, but I will kind of also keep his brain intact, backtrack a bit, so we're not like fighting each other. So I feel like it kind of would even kind of setting the scene like be like a reverse completely, and almost take us back to the first question, and going from like the what is going on to simple things that maybe won't distress his mind further, about like what is the name and or where is the base, kind of like hopefully asking more of like what the organization is, a more open-ended question to try and get both the name and if they're try to get landmarks about what the base of operation. I'm not sure if that would make sense or if I would do that in two separate, but that's her goal, is that to do it two in one.
I think you would need to tell me how you position the question.
Okay, I think that she would think about of like, because she already had some in her brain about like when he signed it, so kind of more so base of operations, assuming that there will probably be some chatter or some type of other distinguishing marks where the base of operation is that would help her figure out if there's a name.
So you don't hear a name.
Okay.
What you hear though is, or what you see,
Okay.
I suppose, is you are sucked out of where you are now and traveling over the galaxy, like you're looking at your map, like you would be expanding to pick where to traverse next, to chart your course. And you see them flying all the way over to the far rim. And near the system of Ma'at, you see that there is a large space station that seems to be both decrepit and advancing. As you can feel, as you are sucked into this area, you can feel the surges of heavy electronic power. But when you look around, this is that dark, dingy place that was in the first scene with the desk. It's hard to explain because it is dark, while it is also, you know there is an extreme amount of power here, but it is not going to the lights. It is not going anywhere to where you can see better descriptors. It is coursing through your veins and coursing down the hallway. As you begin to take a couple of steps, you begin to hear the Bartarian who was speaking before, that states, "We were all harmed. You were harmed. I am harmed. But we are not broken. You who are here, whether you are Batarian brother, whether you are Vorcha, whether you are Elcor, whether you are human or a disgusting manifestation of the past that killed our kin. You are here for forgiveness, for the next step forward. And you will earn that forgiveness. Trust in the insurgents. And that's where that memory will stop.
Damn. Okay. Oof. I think with that, Nyxeris feels like she has a lot of information, so her last one will be name of organization. If there even is one.
I think it'd be more fun to do a little scene skip
Mm-hmm.
in this, if that's okay with you.
Oh, absolutely. I love that shit.
Oh, Worq! You're going to
Knock, knock.
comms.
True.
You're going to
It's true.
comms. You see that Asari woman again. And she seems to not look dejected, but look almost emotionally exhausted, as it seems that she probably went to go ask everyone if they'd like to go down to the brig.
Worq gives her a polite nod, but and then stops. And like does his understands who he is and what he looks like, and tries to be polite.
Didn't catch your name earlier, if I may.
Sure. It's Menezia Devil.
And what do you do in comms?
I'm the communications officer.
Hmm.
And Worq will turn his hand over so that she can see the headset that is in his hand. And he's studying her reaction to it.
I think she looks really intrigued. And she's pretty. She seems mostly worried all the time. So her being more mousy and more something where she wants to stand back. This is the first time you see her want to take a step forward and look into it more.
Took this off a Blue Sun.
That it would make sense. I mean, the communications that they use. This is typically a one-way system. So by that I mean it goes to a central hub and then it expresses out to others for them to hear, but they can also communicate back to the hub. It's almost like a hive mind type of communication. It's rudimentary.
So, since it's rudimentary, could you tell me where the signal was coming from?
Yeah, that's easy. And she will put her hand out for it.
And
He hands it over.
She will take it. And you see her mess with it for a moment before she sticks her nail under a part of it and just clicks it open to where there are a couple of, like a little motherboard and a couple of little chips. She will place it down on her desk before pulling out some little tool that looks like tweezers but has a connecting wire, and will gingerly pull out one of the small little chips before sticking that into this tabletop that looks like it is a bare electronic board. It it has a low glow, but it doesn't seem to do much else. But as she places that down and she begins to type on her computer screen, you begin to see a million different things pop up. And you see different small communications and notifications popping up about each communication and when they arrived. And it's almost like she is actively reposing each of the notifications that don't mean anything. And she's typing vigorously before she not looks back to you, but leans towards you, like she's actively trying to listen, and will go. So, which signal did you want me to? Well, I guess they all go to the same place. Do you want the most recent one? Because they could have moved the communications before.
Yeah, most recent. And if there's anything for a Sasvin, that's real important.
And she will find the most recent call, and she will open it, and you begin to see the rest of the notifications almost melt, like they mean nothing, until one is left. And as that expands, the entire ship will begin to hear a low thrumming and then alarms as through the PA system. Nixarius, this is familiar to you, but you all hear a low, impending, almost preaching voice that says, "Gotcha! The insurgents always finds a way." And we'll end there.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hopefully, we will be back next week to learn more about the insurgents and what's happening next. I am Serenity, she, Faye, any pronouns, I don't care. You can find me all over the internet as ClickClackSnac. I do fun cosplay stuff. I do TTRPGs. I do everything in between and outside of it. Just go check out what I do, because that's the fun part. I'll popcorn it over to Sparrow.
Hi, hello. I am your favorite burb on the interweb, aBlackSparrow. You can find me most places at aBlackSparrow, on Blue Sky at aBlackSparrow.com. Possibly, maybe Thursday, I'll be over at twitch.tv/therealgobshite. You can just check my socials because it's spelled uniquely for a Pathfinder game called Crosshaven. And then sometime, I don't know when it's going to be aired, so I'll just say it now and continue to say it until well after it's live. I'm going to be a guest on Characters Without Stories, so I'm very excited for that particular thing. I have a lovely character that has just been sitting, waiting, wishing, and hoping to be talked about. So I'm very excited to sit down and chat about that. And I think now would be a fantastic time to turn things over to the great and wonderful Maz.
I'm muted. My goodness, apologies, y'all. But hi, I'm Maz. You can find me everywhere. It's Mozzarelle or here on Twitch, which I won't be on until the 25th, but I will be on for other cool games. I'm usually on Tuesdays at Catchy Cantrips, and this week I'm on Game Master Mondays for a Survivor game. Hopefully, my character makes it. We've already had one person voted off the island. Oh my goodness. But it is for charity and it is wonderful. So if you want to know what that, please feel free to follow the socials and see the post there. This is also a good time to hand it over to Daryl.
Hello, I'm Daryl. I play Darius Okar, your resident infiltrator pistolero, who just trying to bring comfort to a woman who's been shaken up and also was very shocked to find out there was an AI on board. Places you can find me. You can find me all over the internet at Mr_Daryl_Dorsey or just Daryl Dorsey or some variant of those two things. As far as projects I have coming up, they're currently in the works. So they're like weeks out from actually happening right now. Like session zeros are happening. So when they actually happen, I will post on all the places you can still find me about them. Uh, Vampire the Masquerade stuff is happening. And me as a player, which is a rarity, I usually run the game. Uh, I'm going to be horrible. I'm going to be naughty, as they said in the first Blade game. game, movie, because I'm playing a Ventru. I main Ventru. Yes. Uh, but yeah, that's all that's happening with me. I'm just happy we got to play. I love this. I love playing this game. I love Mass Effect Serenity. You're great. And Serenity is my squirrel girl. I'm gonna put this over to Jade.
Yeah, hi y'all. I'm Jade Valkyrie. I do lots of content on the internet. The best place to find me pretty much everywhere is at Jade Valkyrie, except for here on Twitch and Blue Sky. It's Jade Valkyrie with a 3 at the end. Just find the purple-haired person. That's me. Or you could look through the photos and then be like, yeah, that's Jade. That's me. What I got coming up, I am hopefully, fingers crossed, Santa Ana Winds of LA be willing. Hopefully we'll stream on Wednesday and continue to stream this week. But I have no idea because the winds are fickle and wildfires are wildfires. So if that's not the case, then I'll let you know on social media. And I don't really have any other tabletop projects at the moment. So yeah, that's about it for me. We are going to head to the end screen. So please stick around because we are going to find someone to raid. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks so much. Bye bye.